Hey, it's Hunter here, and in this video, I'm going to be starting a new series where I review other photographers' photos. Now for this first video, it's going to be one of our new photographers here at True Homes. I'm going to go over one of his recent shoots and let you know what I like, what I don't like, and I'll tell you what I would do differently if I was there, if there's something I would have done differently. Now, if you'd like to be part of the next photo review, I have a link down in the description below where you can submit your work. I've been a real estate photographer for almost 10 years now. I've photographed thousands of houses. And so the point of this video series is to help you grow as a photographer and possibly help you improve your process, improve your composition if I think something is, could be done better. Of course, I'm not perfect. My ideas aren't perfect, but if you want a second opinion on how your work is, I'd be happy to offer that. We're going to go through all of the images first, just to take and absorb that information in, and then I will give you my opinions on it. So let's take a look at the images. Now, just a little disclaimer, I did edit these images, so I will be fair and critique my own editing if I see something I missed. Just gonna flip through these really quickly, take some mental notes as I go through. Okay, that was all of them. I have a few things that I want to address in this. Let's start with the first image. I think it was taken at a decent time. These windows at the top are probably just false rooms. They're not real. This is a dormer in the attic. This is probably in the attic. This is in the attic. So it's not realistic for those lights to be on anyways. So I didn't add light in the editing, so that's on me. But the composition I think is good. It looks like this window is a little bit darker than this window. It looks like there's a screen on this window and not on that one maybe. I'm not entirely sure why this one is so dark, or maybe just the shutters at the bottom weren't open properly. And then it looks like I missed I got a little green on the sidewalk when I did grass screening, so that is again my bad there. And again, I think the composition is good. I don't think there's anything wrong with the composition. Maybe if it was back a little bit because we're cutting off the edge of the house here, but my main critique here would be the floodlight. You typically want to avoid having those floodlights be on because it's going to flood the scene with light and you're going to get that giant starburst. The floodlight's just way too powerful for twilight images. Now, unfortunately, the photographer forgot to switch his camera off of JPEG on the drone, so there wasn't a lot of editing that could be done here. And the composition is okay. I don't see anything majorly wrong with it. There's a giant tree blocking the house, so I mean, I probably would have done things slightly differently, but I think these are acceptable for what they are. On the front exterior, I don't see anything bad. I think the composition is all good. It would be nice if there wasn't this utility thing here, but you can't really do anything about that, can you? Now with this image on our shot list, it says the entryway, right? Well, this is not the entryway. This is a picture of the front door. It's something that a lot of people mess up in the beginning. I would have definitely taken a shot from this further back. I would not have been so close to the door. You're gonna just really stretch it. The door should definitely be somewhere closer to a third, and this is like probably not even a fourth. This is a little bit more beyond that. So I would definitely try to shoot a little bit further back on the front door shot, the entryway shot. I would try to frame the door a little bit closer to the center, not all the way over to the left or the right. Both of these images here, we never get to see what's on the right side of the door, the entryway. I have no clue what's on the left. I have no clue what's on the right. So that's why I would have stepped back a little bit further. I would have definitely rotated over to the right a little bit. And we also have a reflection in the mirror here. I think that could have been avoided by just stepping back a little bit, rotating more into that living room there. And I noticed that the ceiling fan is also off in the living room, and that is something you don't want to have in your photos. You want to make sure that all the lights are on. I think this image is fine. It does look like this set of shutters down here is a little bit more closed than the rest of them. So you want to always make sure that your blinds and shutters are open the same amount. Sometimes the shutters are a little tricky though, because they get loose. This image looks good. I like the framing with the French doors in the foreground there. I think the image is a little green or maybe a little warm. So that's on me for the editing, but again, we have another set of shutters pointed down when all the other ones are more open. It's the same issue as the entryway over there at the front door. We never get to see what's on this other side of the room here on the right and on the left. We never get to see it. So I have no clue. Is there built-in cabinets? Is there like an entertainment center built in? Is it just a TV mounted on the wall? This shot, I definitely would have taken more to the left. It does look like there's a chair right here, so I would have been standing right here, shooting over the chair. You don't want to shoot like someone's sitting in the chair and it's their perspective. You want to kind of include the chair to kind of frame the corner of the shot. And I would have definitely just tried to include more of this wall over here. And if I wasn't able to, if it just was not going to work out, I would have taken a shot from this gap here and just shoot between the couch and the chair towards this wall that's behind where the photographer is sitting right now. And that would have alleviated that issue of not being able to see that. This dining room angle is good. I would have tried to maybe just come over a little bit to the right so you're not shooting the back of a chair like that. And it looks like the homeowner's dog is in the shot in the background, so I always gotta watch out for those pets. And then same thing here with the chair. The angle itself is okay, but the chair is an issue. You know, you're just looking at a big white square in the photo. So I would have either shifted over to the left or I would have shifted over to the right, some way to see the side of that chair, because you want to create 3D objects in a 2D photo. And if you're just taking a picture of the back of a piece of furniture, you're just creating a big ol' obstruction to the view, and it's really distracting. So always try to kind of get to the side of furniture, never shoot the back of furniture if possible. As far as the kitchen goes, I think these were really good compositions. The only thing I would have done differently is I would have taken a shot on this here. I would have gone up a little bit closer, additional to this photo, mind you. I like this photo. It does a good job. I would have taken an additional photo, just moved up a little closer, maybe like 2 feet. I would have used the bar here to kind of frame my shot into the kitchen, and I would have shot towards this wall back here, and that way you get a good shot of the whole kitchen. But we got this straight on shot that looks really good too. And I did forget to Photoshop out the tripod legs. That's on me again. And that one looks good. And this one looks good. So yeah, I think, you know, the only thing additionally I would have done here is just that extra shot right here. But other than that, at the kitchen, very nice. I think this photographer actually shot 2 angles here. There was a straight on shot, and then there was this one, but the straight on didn't show the door. And I chose to go with this one because I like that you're advertising that there's a closet inside the laundry room as well. This is kind of the same issue as the living room and the entryway. And I think what's happening here is we're shooting 2 walls instead of 3 walls, right? We should be shooting rooms where you can see 3 walls in the image instead of a triangle. You should have, you know, 3 walls because you're shooting a box. But if you're shooting a triangle, that's going to make the room look smaller. And of course, we're missing this entire side of the room here. So we also have a reflection in both of these shots. Reflections are not good. And, you know, just because the way this is framed, it just would have really made it difficult to Photoshop out. It's possible. It could be done. I just didn't feel like doing it. And again, we got some shutters that aren't open all the way when this one is open almost all the way. So you have really got to watch out for stuff like that. That's why we spend a little bit of time before shooting the house, going through, making sure everything is set up properly. And that is one of the things we need to check. As far as the bathroom goes, I think these shots are good. I don't know if there would have been any way to try to get something to show the shower. The only thing I can think of would have been to lean up against this here and shoot this towards the bathtub, and you would have actually been able to see into the shower through this little cutout in the wall. But otherwise, I think the 3 shots you have are good. I mean, you're going to see the shower in the reflection on both of these, so it's obvious it's there. This bedroom angle looks good. It's kind of an odd shaped room, it seems. But again, we have a shutter that's not open, and the bathroom light is off in this room for some reason. Same thing, we got shutters going 2 different directions on here. And then this is okay. I would have tried to come over a little bit to the right because we're shooting just a big old side of the furniture here. And if you can come over a little bit to the right, that would let you see the face of the furniture instead of just the side. And the only other critique I have for this room is just the little shade here. These are both at the same level. I would have just moved this up if possible to be the same level as the other 2. And you know, now that I look at this image, I don't know if it would have been possible to come over any further. So I can only give my advice on what I see in the image. You know, I wasn't there at the house, so everything is kind of subjective to what I'm looking at. I wasn't there. I don't have the same context. This is kind of an odd backyard, so I'm not going to critique it too heavily. Yeah, I would have stood right here in this corner. There was another angle of this, right? Yeah, I would have stood right here, and I would have shot long ways across the backyard instead of towards the bush, towards the fence. And then that would have given you more depth to the backyard instead of this. The photo works fine, but that's what I would have done differently. Straight on shot of the pool, I think it works. It looks fine. And the shot works fine. So when you're shooting a property, it's definitely important to show any grassy areas, and this is something that I don't think is accomplished extremely well here. I probably would have done this differently. I don't think this is a bad photo. I think you can definitely include this in the listing. But what I would have done differently is I would have shot from this fence, and I would have just shot long ways back towards where the photographer is standing. That way you're shooting a shot of the grassy area instead of a picture of the brick wall. You know, it's just, I think it would be a better looking image, and it would be more useful to the listing. I don't feel 100% on this one. It's not a bad photo. It's a little bit distracting to have this pot in the bottom and shooting over the pot. You know, this is like a triangle shaped pool, and you made it look like a rectangle. I definitely would have just shot this from the wall, and I would have shot diagonally kind of across the pool, centering my shot on the edge of this here, and that would have let you see the pool long ways, the entire length of the pool, and it would have made it seemed like a triangle and not like a rectangle. I mean, you get the same effect here. It's just that it's a little bit distracting to have the pot in the bottom here. And then this image is okay. However, I probably would have shot it a little bit further back here with some of the water in the foreground, just to give context to where you're, you know, what's around. Because it's just a shot of a patio with an outdoor kitchen, or at least a grill. And it could have shown more in one image than just that. If you would have come back a little bit further and shown just a little bit of that water in the foreground, I think it would have made the image a lot more aesthetic. We'll go with that. It's kind of similar to this image here, but a little bit closer. As far as the twilight image goes, I think this is actually good. I like the way that the waterfall in the foreground just works, and it's just an odd shaped backyard. It's not probably the best suited for a bunch of twilight images, but I think this one works pretty well. I probably should have added some light into the window here. And then we only have 2 shots. I would have definitely taken maybe just one more, similar to that straight on shot that was taken long ways. I definitely would have tried to get 3 shots of this backyard instead of just 2. There are 2 ways to take straight down drone photos of a house. I mean, I guess you can also take it diagonal, but if you're going to take it squared, you can either do it with the house facing, north to south, or you can shoot it, east to west. And in this case, I think this is a property that you should do east to west because it's longer than it is wide. And we have 3 houses in one photo, and it's really just about this house down the middle. Rotating the drone 90 degrees would have made a much better looking image than this one here, but it accomplishes the job. I don't think realtors would really complain about this. More just a personal preference thing. And I mean, as far as the other drone shots go, I think they do a good job. Sometimes I try to take one a little bit further back, showing like the horizon. These are all kind of just looking down. So yeah, that's all of the images. Hopefully this has been useful for the photographer to learn what could be done better, what was already done well, and continue improving their craft. If you want to submit a link to your work for review in the next video, you can do so in the description. But anyways, I will see you in the next video.